Hello guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Jesper Offersen, and today we are going to look at how one should, or in my opinion should, brush one's teeth. And the reason we are going to talk about that today is that I read an article the other day, and because of the times that we are in, this awful corona crisis, there are a lot of things that you can't do that you would normally do. And one of the things is that if you wanted to go to the dentist, well, at least here in England, that will not be possible unless it is really a dire situation that you are in. Therefore, in this period, it is and always is, of course, very important to look after your teeth. And the reason I would like to tell you how I do that and how I have done it for many years is that when I go to the dentist, then he is a very good dentist. He says to me that could you not make a video about how you are brushing your teeth, because then I can show it to some of my other patients. And the reason that he asked me to do it is, of course, that he can see that my teeth look really nice, clean. And last time I was there, he was actually like, okay, you haven't been here for 6 months, but when I am looking at your teeth, looking at the plaque, there's nothing there. How can that be? And he actually said, well, they actually look better than his own teeth. So that was a compliment. And I would like to tell you how I do it. And it is just not just me doing it. My partner, my husband, he does that as well. And as our dentist, he says, we have the best teeth that he has in his practice. So we are not related. So it must be because of the way that we are doing it. It's not just because of good genes or whatever it could be. So do I do something really special? Well, I wouldn't say that I do something really special, but I do some things that makes a difference. So first of all, what I do is when I brush my teeth, I have for many years now used a toothbrush which is from Philips, and it is called a Sonicare, and it looks like this, and that is one of these electric ones. And when you turn it on, it sounds like this. And instead of going back and forth as such, it's kind of like more has it vibrates, so it kind of like bounces onto your teeth, and then you just move it as you would do with a normal toothbrush. And one of the functions in this one here is that if you are pushing it too hard onto your gums, then it will actually I think it stops, or it kind of like make an alert sound, so that you know that you shouldn't do that. It kind of like halts or something like that. So it doesn't really often happen to me because I don't press that hard onto my teeth. So that is one thing to do. And what I would say is that if you're using a normal toothbrush, which I have done for years back and or through my childhood, because these ones were not really around back then, you have to be a little bit more careful with when you're choosing your toothbrush, because you don't want a toothbrush which is too hard on your gums. So it should be not too soft, but it should be more like between soft and medium, and don't ruin your gums, because that tissue has a hard time growing back. So when you are using the trick that I will show you now, then you are not supposed to really go and rub and scrub your teeth. You have to do it very carefully, so don't over brush and stuff like that. And that's why I think this one is really good, because it really helps you not putting too much pressure on your gums. So this is an old-fashioned trick, and I believe that I first read about it when I read something about the Hollywood starlets in the 1940s. They would use baking powder for your teeth, and that can be a little bit rough on its own, and therefore you should not just put it on your toothbrush and then just go ahead and do it. So what I do first is that I take my toothbrush and I put on my toothpaste. And at the moment I am using one from Colgate, and I think it's a new one. They say new technology, and it's called Active Fresh. And I only use that one because the other one from Colgate that I normally use, I was not able to obtain because of the times that we are in, because you need to be lucky even to get a toothpaste in the supermarket at the moment. So I'm using this one at the moment. What I do is that I put toothpaste on my toothbrush, and when before I get started too much with the actual brushing, I just take my toothbrush and then I put the toothpaste all over my teeth. And when I have done that, I am using my dental floss. So kind of like normal stuff, like this one is from Oral-B, and there was no particular reason for taking particularly that one. It was just that is, well, I think it's the cheapest one they have or something like that. I take that, and what I do is I take, as you can guess, a piece or a string, and then I go through all my teeth. And I do that while the toothpaste has just been put around all my teeth. So I will get the toothpaste up in between my teeth. And if you have a tooth where maybe there are some pockets in the gums, you will know that usually there you will often get a sort of a pain because your gums will be inflamed. So a good thing to do is that particularly start with those areas first, so you know that you're always getting those. And then you might not get all around doing the other teeth, but try and do that very often. I do it in the morning and evening. But if you have a tooth that needs a little bit extra care, try and start with that one before you go on to the other teeth. And just gently go in and kind of like back and forth, so kind of like you're using this to actually brush the inside, the side of the tooth, which are next to each other, where you would not normally get in with your toothbrush. Now, this can be a little bit tricky, and if you, as I was many years ago, the sort of person that when you're brushing your teeth, a lot of saliva will form, then there is another trick, and as soon as I learned that, it kind of like stopped being an overwhelming problem. And that is, if you're brushing your teeth and you're kind of like looking down into the sink, you will produce a lot of saliva, and that's a problem in this situation here. So what you would like to do instead is to always keep your neck up, or your jaw up, so that it is a bit above being level, so kind of like up like that. Not in the way that then instead all the saliva will just go into your throat. No, because what happens is that you will not produce that much saliva. And it's very simple to see. After a couple of times, when you get used to it, you will notice that it doesn't really form that much saliva. And when you're taking your dental floss, this string here, definitely you would like to keep up your jaw so that it doesn't kind of like drips out of your mouth. And that's why I say in the beginning, start with the tooth that, if you have a tooth that is the most problematic of your teeth, then start with that one first until you get the hang of how to not produce that much saliva when you are doing it. So now, when I have done that, what I will then do is I will go on to my baking powder, and this is just ordinary baking powder. And what I will do is that I have just put all the toothpaste around my teeth. I might spit a little bit, because you do form a little bit of saliva, but you don't form that much as if you are holding your head down. So the next thing I will do is that I will take the baking powder. And how much do I take? Now, first to say is that when you have just coated your teeth with the toothpaste and you still have a little bit on here, it shouldn't be completely wet. You just like make sure that's not too wet. And then you put it into the baking powder. But then you already have some sort of glide onto your teeth. So if you just took a dry mouth and put this one into baking powder and then start to rub, you will rub onto your gums, and you should not do that, because they will start to be very sensitive and then start to maybe bleed, and that is not what we are looking for. So now you have this sort of a slip on your teeth. You go in and you take it like this, so you get a kind of like an amount like this onto your toothbrush, and then you are again starting with the tooth where you maybe are having a problem. So just concentrate on those teeth first, and then just brush completely like you normally would. But you should not use too much pressure in general when you are brushing your teeth. So what else do I do? Well, I do another thing, and when I started to do that, my dentist, he really noticed that the the stuff that forms between your teeth, or the plaque and stuff, which is kind of like crunchy, and particularly that you will form down here at the front teeth, at the lower gum. In order to make that less calcified, or make less of it, what you need is something called vitamin K2. And vitamin K2 I use from a company called Natural Factors, and it looks like this. And what this does is that I take 4 of these capsules every day. And at one point I took 8, but I didn't really notice a markedly different in that. So I'm back to just taking 4 of these capsules here, which there are 100 milligrams in each. So what does it actually do? Well, it does that in your body there is something called the matrix gamma carboxyl glutamic acid. It is also known as the osteocalcine. And what that does is that when it works, it takes up calcium from the blood and from all these soft tissues, in order to make sure that it is not there, but that it is being put into where it should be, and that would be into your bones and into your teeth. So in order for that matrix to be, or that protein to be active, you need to have the vitamin K2. So the whole point of vitamin K2 is that if you are hearing people saying that vitamin K2 will take away calcium from your arteries, then it is not exactly vitamin K2 that does it, but it stimulates this protein called MGP. And that will take calcium away from all the soft tissue. And what it will also do is that it will make sure that in your saliva there is less calcium in it. So there will still be some, so you will still get this sort of stuff between your teeth that are difficult to take away, but it will be much less dense. It will be easier for your dentist to take it away, and you will find out that you will produce less of it. So that is also a thing that keeping your gums healthy. So these things that I showed you here is what I have done for many years now, and it really helps me keeping my teeth very strong, and I don't really have any issues with my gums or anything like that. So hopefully this is something that can help you in this situation where you might not be able to go to the dentist, and you would like to keep your oral hygiene really up to speed. So I just know that when I have done this for many years, my dentist say that I am having the best teeth basically in his practice. And once when he have just seen my husband, then he would say, oh, you have the best one. When he see me, oh, you have the best one. So what do you do? And this is actually what we are doing. So when you're using a baking powder, there is another thing about it, and that is only use it in the evening, because baking powder is alkaline, so that is the opposite of being acidic. So you will have a more of an alkaline situation going on in your mouth, and what that will do is also that it will keep your teeth more, it will prevent them from having any sort of acid attack, or at least for a little while. Because what happens is that if you are having a bacteria in your mouth, what they will do is that they will use all the stuff that is from your food, and they will produce an acid, and that is what is eroding your teeth away. So this will do the opposite. It will make the environment in your mouth alkaline. So what also happens when that is going on is that, or at least for me, when I wake up in the morning, I will see that my saliva has become like white threads in my mouth, and that is because of the alkaline situation going on. So the alkaline situation does something to the saliva which make it more solid and more like you have no white pieces in your mouth. And you might be thinking, what is that? But that is because of the baking powder. If you don't use the baking powder, it should not be a problem, and you might never have experienced it before, but that is due to the baking powder. So that's why you should not do it in the morning, because you definitely don't want these threads to form during the day. It doesn't look nice in any way, and I'm pretty sure that other people would say that it's a bit disgusting. But now you know what is going on, so don't do it in the morning. And whatever you do, don't use too harsh a toothbrush, and don't use the baking powder just on its own. It needs to be mixed in with the toothpaste. And yes, you can get toothpaste that has baking powder in it. I will say that they don't work in any way the same way as using a baking powder like this. So these are my tips in order to keep a good oral hygiene. And another thing you can do is I learned in a BBC program where they were talking about awful teeth here in England. And she said, the dentist in the program who was working at a university, I think in London, and she said that a good thing to do is that don't rinse your mouth after you have brushed your teeth. Just spit, 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 and spit, but don't rinse it with water, because just leave the residues of the toothpaste in between your teeth and in your mouth in general. Obviously not overwhelmingly, but just as you have spit out a lot, then just don't wash it with water. So that was another tip you could take into consideration. If you would like more of these videos, please subscribe, hit the bell, and do all those things you must do in order to be notified when I upload more of these sort of videos. Thank you for watching. See you. Bye.